Here we go, just for the sake of the recording. Today is April 15th. Oh, it's tax day. Oh, man. What a day. You are at EDU Endpoint office hours, and take it away, Richard.
That's a great intro, Garrett. Thank you for that. So, everyone, so we will be talking about M365 Apps Admin Center Deep Dive. Eric Wayne's going to be doing that here in a minute. But before we get into that, let's go over some of the updates that have come out over the last couple of weeks. First, we mentioned this last time, just another note, no AI tools in the meetings. I still see like right now, I see Firefly's note taker. Whoever has that, get rid of it. I'm going to kick it out of here. But yeah, don't include any of those AI tools like Otter or whatever else is out there. Just make sure that those things are all turned off. Okay, so today, like I mentioned, we're talking about M365 Apps Admin Center Deep Dive. On the 29th, we will have an Autopatch overview. Chris Tulip, who's a PM on our Autopatch team, he will be presenting on Autopatch, and by then we should see most, if not all, tenants should have Autopatch either by then or shortly after the end of April. So that's a thumbs up. Some of you may actually see it now. It is slowly rolling out. So I think we're only like 10% right now. So it's still getting out there. But if you do see it now, there's a lot of people that are probably envious. But it should be rolling out to everyone by the end of the month. We also have a call for presenters. I'm going to share the slides in the recording. I know we still need to do better at this, but I'll get that out to you. For anyone that wants to present, we've got a Microsoft form there that you can fill out to do that. For our updates on Intune, two big ones around the Intune connector that we have for hybrid joined devices. There is a change to that on how we authenticate. That is going to go into effect at the end of June 2025. I'm going to flip over to actually my browser and just kind of walk through some of these real quick. So here's the call for presenters form that I mentioned earlier. But the plan for change. So the new connector is already available. So if you are using the Intune connector for hybrid joined devices for Autopilot, it's out now. But what we want folks to do is start to use a managed service account, not a GMSA, but an actual MSA, not a personal Microsoft account, but a managed service account. Use that instead of a local system account for deploying Microsoft and hybrid joined devices with Windows Autopilot. If you're not using hybrid joined for Autopilot, it's probably going to affect you. But if you are, then stick to this. And who's off mute? Is that Garrett? It's not Garrett.
I'll get him. You keep talking.
I got him. Okay. And another major update that actually is going to go into effect April 30th. I've seen a lot of folks talk about this on Reddit and X and Blue Sky. There is a change happening to our CDN endpoints for Windows, Mac, and Android open source project devices. If you have configured your firewall to allow the wildcard for managed.microsoft.com, then you don't have to worry about anything. But what this change is it's actually affecting a few different things that require our CDN. So first is with Windows. The CDN is used for delivering updates for the Intune management extension. So think of Win32 apps, PowerShell scripts, remediation scripts. All those things come through the Intune management extension. And so we leverage the same CDN for all of those. For co-managed devices, the CDN provides the official config manager binaries. In Intune, there's a way for you to actually deploy a config manager client to a co-managed device. So if you autopilot and roll it through Intune, but still want co-management, we can deploy the SCCM client for those machines. We use the same CDN for that. And for your Mac devices, the same CDN is used for delivering updates for the Intune management agent, which is used to deploy your PKG apps, DMG apps, shell scripts, and custom attributes. And then for Android ASP, we use the same CDN for delivering applications during device provisioning through the Intune Company Portal app and feature updates. So how to prepare? Again, if you're using the wildcard for star.manage.microsoft.com, if you are just if you're allowing that through your firewall or proxy, then no change is necessary. If you're not doing that and you're explicit on your firewall rules, then you need to make sure that you are hitting each of the endpoints that are required. And so we have the links here for all the different network endpoints. So that is going to go into effect on April 30th. So if you start to notice things after April 30th where applications may not be coming down, this could be the reason why. All right. We also put out a blog post. Actually, before I do that, let me just see if I got everything. Yeah, so this is the next link there. We put out a blog post on the Intune blog around achieving greatest security with Intune and Microsoft 365. And what we did is we actually talked to our MVPs and had them create a series of how-to videos for securing your tenants, as well as how to leverage Microsoft Intune to help with this. And so if you go through here, there's a number of YouTube videos that have been recorded around security and device management. I haven't had a chance to watch all of them, but we also created I would say like a guided scenario, if you will, or a guided demo of how to do things within Intune. So if there's some prescriptive guidance you need for how to deploy apps, how to enable universal print using delivery optimization, just overviews on Intune and how certain things work. We've got some guided scenarios that actually will take you through step by step on how to do something. So if I click on the one here for universal print, it's going to tell me exactly where I need to go to configure this if I've never done it before. So pretty cool if you've never done any of these scenarios before. We've used this same kind of concept for other things in the past, and so that's now available. Let's see. Hang on, it's out of the way. Okay. And we did make a post for what's new in Entra. I'm not going to go look at the blog post right now, but there's quite a few things in Entra that we're doing. Usually every month they'll post a big what's new blog post that has pretty much everything that we've either announced or any changes that are coming that you should be aware of. So that's going to be out there. Again, I'll share all these links after we get through this. Copilot on Windows. So normally we don't talk a lot about what's going on in Windows Insider, but I think this is pretty important because I think this is actually going to really change how people interact with their devices. And you're seeing this on multiple platforms too. You don't just see it with Windows and with Microsoft. But what we're doing is we're actually bringing Copilot Vision and file search to Windows in the near future. And right now you can get access to this through the Windows Insider program. And so what this is doing is for file search, we're going to leverage Copilot to help you search for your files. That's good, but what I think is more important is actually using Vision. And if you haven't used Copilot Vision yet with Microsoft Edge, I actually find that's actually pretty cool. Like I was telling the team this the other day, I was streaming a hockey game and I had Copilot Vision turned on and I asked it, who just scored? What's the score of the game? Who's playing in the game? Who's got the puck right now? And it's actually able to tell you in real time what is going on. If you think about the game of hockey, hockey's fast. Like there's a lot of stuff going on at any given moment. It's hard for most people to just even follow the puck. And so you can actually talk to Copilot Vision and have it tell you like what exactly is going on in real time. And so that's in Edge right now. So most people that have Edge on a non-Insider's machine can actually take advantage of that. But in Insiders right now, with Vision coming to the whole Windows OS, now you're going to be able to ask like questions about an app that you're not familiar with, or how do I do something, maybe in Word or Office or some other application that you've never used before, maybe even in Intune. You want to have it tell you how to, where to click, how to actually interact with your PC. And so I think this is actually going to fundamentally change things for a lot of people. And so this is right now rolling out to Insiders. It should be sometime this year, I would imagine. I have no ETA on when this is going to go live for everyone. That's going to be coming pretty soon. So if you're interested in taking a look at that, get on Insiders, play with it, give us some feedback if you've used it. And lots of stuff in Windows. I'm not going to go through every single one of these links here right now. What I do want to call out, though, is there is a Forrester projected total economic impact of Windows 365 and AVD. For those of you that are looking at this, or maybe you need to make a business case internally, like you've tried it out, you've demoed it, you think it will, if you think it'll actually meet some use cases. This TEI report that we got from Forrester, it's 59 pages, but it looks at both Windows 365 and AVD. The cost savings. We've also interviewed a number of customers, so there's a lot of customer quotes in here for their decisions to go to Windows 365 or AVD, why they made those decisions, and even in some cases, customers that went Azure Virtual Desktop, but then decided that they wanted to go back to Windows 365 because of the simplicity that it provided versus a lot of the care and feeding that they had to do with AVD. So take a look at this report if you are in the process of looking at maybe changing from a VDI platform that you might be using today, or if you think that there are some benefits there that you want to take advantage of. This can maybe help make an internal business case for you. We also announced Hotpatch is coming we've announced a while back that Hotpatch is coming. It's actually there now, you can turn it on. We've already talked about this in the past. But on April 2nd, we posted a blog post that actually goes a bit deeper into how Hotpatch works. There's a YouTube video that you can click through and watch that. But there's also a longer description about the benefits of using Hotpatch and then how the Hotpatch technology works and how the baselines. So we've got basically 4 baselines a year, and then the other months you just have the Hotpatch servicing. And so when you look at this little chart here, you get your baseline on January, baseline on April, baseline on July. And then you've got the February and March updates. Those would be Hotpatch. There's no reboot required for them. So every baseline, you have a reboot, but the green dots up here, no reboots. And so we've got a table here as well. It shows the baseline updates, January, April, July, and October. And then the Hotpatch updates with no restarts are on the other months. How to get started is in here as well. And you can turn this on today without AutoPatch being in your tenant. You have the capability of doing that right now. Even though you'll see in here that you do require AutoPatch, but we've already turned this on for EDU tenants, so you should see it there already. What else? Okay, INETpub. So this is something that we've, a lot of you guys have probably seen this empty INETpub folder that just showed up after installing. Well, if you haven't installed the April updates yet, so they just came out recently, last week. But when you do install the April updates, you are going to notice that there is an empty INETpub folder on the root of your C drive. And so the internet, lots of people are freaking out about this, not understanding what it is. A lot of people actually thought it was just a mistake that we just, packaged up the update and gave you an empty INETpub folder. It's actually not the case, though. It is intentional. Do not remove the folder. We posted, I think on the 10th, we updated the MSRC post. So every time we have a Windows update or patch or something, there's usually a CVE that's corresponding to some sort of security vulnerability, and we'll have a patch that goes along with that, and we'll give you all this information up in the MSRC site. And so for all the vulnerabilities, we pretty much make a page that looks like this. And if you go to this page, this will tell you that when you install these updates, you will get that INETpub folder, and it'll be created on your device. And it's gonna happen for every cumulative update moving forward. So if you were to delete the folder, which we don't recommend you do, but if you were to delete it, it will come back because our updates are cumulative. So that folder is just going to be there. And put in clear, bold text, do not delete it, regardless of whether IIS is active on the target device. So the INETpub folder comes when you install IIS, that folder gets created by default. But this is actually not only for IIS. So whether IIS is on the machine or not, make sure that that folder does not get deleted. And the follow-up question to this is, well, why is that folder there to begin with? A lot of the questions that people have, we haven't put public information out there on why the folder is there for this fix. I don't know if that's going to change, if we will create some, or if we'll add to this, the FAQs on why is there. I've looked internally to see if we're going to put any any additional guidance on this. I haven't seen anything yet. That doesn't mean we won't. But just for now, don't delete that folder. It is necessary. And with that, I think we're good. Again, I'm going to share this out. A lot of links for Windows. I just don't have time to go over them. I want to get to Eric so he has time to get through his content. So with that, Eric, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. I'll stop sharing. I'll give you the floor, and you can go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Thanks a lot.
I can. There we go. Yeah, hey everybody, Eric Wayne here. I am one of the PMs in the DMX engineering team, and I'm going to talk to you about the M365 Apps Admin Center as soon as my deck loads. And maybe, there we go. There was a problem displaying your content. Oh, okay, great. Let me try sharing my screen. I was trying to do PowerPoint Live. That was not happening. Oh, I can't share. Can you make
you're not a presenter. Let me do that.
That's the problem.
I just got it. You should be good.
I'm crapping on PowerPoint Live.
Can you try again, Eric?
All right.
Yes. There we go.
Okay, still doesn't want me to do PowerPoint Live, but I'll just share the screen because I was going to share it anyway at some point. Oops, everyone able to see this?
Yep, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, so once again, Eric Wayne here. I'm one of the PMs in the DMX engineering team. Our team's goal is generally speaking heavily with the enterprise, but we work quite extensively with government and EDU as well. And it's all about making your life easier when it comes to M365 updates. So I've got a deck here that I'm going to run through kind of quick, and then I'm going to jump right into the Apps Admin Center because it's better to play in a real tenant. So the biggest things that we wanted to focus on were insights into what the heck's going on in your environment. What add-ins are you running? What builds are you on? What devices are online, and what channel are they on? And then trying to meet all the challenges that come with managing updates month over month. People are obviously very concerned about things like performance, reliability, app compat. And so how do we solve for all of those things? And how do we make your life easier and give you the tools so that you can, not make this your full-time job? So first, let's talk about inventory. So again, I'll go through this kind of quick. So I'll actually do it in the demo itself, but inventory is just that. It tells you what's going on in your environment for your M365 apps, devices, channel breakdown, 64, 32-bitness spread, what COM add-ins are running, things like that. Additionally, we have the security update status. Every month, how far along are you with your updates? Have most of the devices taken the updates? Are they still lagging behind after the Patch Tuesday releases? You can set a goal in here and it'll help you track towards your goal. Some companies have internal metrics, 95%, compatible within the first 7 days of an update, things like that. So you can see that as well. And then, you can see if you've met your goals or not for the month or the patch rollout. And then application health. So in here, it's going to take a look at all of the sessions of the apps that you're running, Excel, PowerPoint, Word, what have you. And it's going to compare it to the health data that we saw from last month. So things like crash rates, load times, file open times, open from SharePoint, open from local, just basically, how is the environment doing on each channel, and is there any advisories or degradations that we need to actually look in at? So definitely a place where you can kind of just see what's going on and have a chance to get ahead of it before your users start yelling at you and things like that. So and then the other piece that we really want to talk about, and like I said, I'll go through all this a little deeper in the demo, but is now managing the updates. So if you look at the kind of the 4 key places you can manage updates, there are third-party tools and others as well. But if if you look at kind of when we talk about the 4 ways you can manage updates, there's pros and cons, maybe not be the right term, but there are certainly trade-offs in terms of total cost of ownership, what these tools can do for you or what they can't do for you. And so when we look at the Apps Admin Center here in the front, the biggest thing that stands out is there's no on-prem content support. It's all cloud-based tool. So certainly need to be an admin that Matt put in the text as well, as terms of being a global admin, a security admin, or an Office Apps admin role in Entra to be able to access it. But once you have one of those roles, you can hop in and start playing around. And there's some really good features like reporting. We've got rollback, pause. We've got this thing called update validation, wave rollouts. These are all the things that I'll go into a little deeper, but these are all the things that admins say are necessary to manage M365 apps, in this day and age. When we look at these different tools, basically the support enclaves, commercial. We are looking to go into government. No plans we have plans going to it, but we have no timeline, I should say. And of course, the benefits for cloud updates is quite substantial. So just compared to like ConfigMan, we're seeing much higher success rates in getting all of your devices updated month over month, less downtime, less errors, and then 6 hours of troubleshooting saved each week on average from a study that was done. So when we look at the cloud updates itself, it shows basically how far along devices are. On Patch Tuesday, that'll all reset back to 0. And then either if you are using your own custom waves, your wave 1 will kick off. Otherwise, we will start deploying. Basically, it's not random, but it's how the devices queue up on Patch Tuesday. We'll start deploying the updates to those devices, and you'll see the status of in progress, completed, and then the ones that are not started. As well as if there were any failures, you'll see the devices that failed and the error codes as to why the update failed, so you can jump in and tackle all that. So really a good way to see exactly what's going on. And then if you need to, you can jump in and take control via things like rollback and pause. Another great feature that we have is update validation. So how this works is you'll set up your own custom waves, and you can do up to 4 waves. It's basically 3 waves, and then your 4th wave is the everybody else wave. And on Patch Tuesday, wave 1 will kick off, and for 7 days, wave 1 will stay in play. Now it only takes 24, 48 hours to get the updates to all those devices in wave 1, but for the remainder of those 7 days, it's going to sit there and do statistical analysis and compare it to how those devices looked prior to the update, and give you a red light, yellow light, green light output to say, hey, should we go forward with the rest of the devices in the company? Was there a major issue? Is Excel crashing, way higher than it was before the update? Maybe you want to take a look at that before you move on to the rest of your waves, type of thing. So, or you might see like, hey, OneNote is taking 0.5 seconds longer to load. You don't really care. That's good to know, but that's not worth it to stop the rollout of the security updates. But it's kind of, again, it's a set it and forget it mentality in here. And if you need to, you can jump in and take action. So trying to get you out of the business of having to manage updates as your full-time job. You have more important things to do than just push Office updates out. And then some of the benefits of cloud updates. Like I said, there's rich data insights. You see exactly what's going on in your environment. It is set it and forget it with automatic updates. Every month, it'll just reset and redo the exact same rollout unless you choose to make changes. There's channel management. You can change channels in there to monthly or to current channel. Set up your own custom waves if you like. Like I mentioned, you can do 3 custom waves, and then the 4th wave is the everybody else wave. Or you just leave it alone, and we'll basically kind of do waves for you based on when devices check in the morning of Patch Tuesday from a network bandwidth perspective. So you're not just hammering every device at once. So update validation we just touched on. Pause and rollback. Well, I'll show you those in detail. Those are huge wins in managing updates and things like exclusion windows. So today is tax day, like was mentioned earlier. So if you're a financial institution firm, you're clearly going to be in a freeze through today. So you would set up your exclusion windows ahead of time, and then they just automatically don't deploy updates in those windows. And you can set certain devices to the exclusion window. If let's say only the tax team needs to be excluded for, April 1st through April 15th, where everybody else can get their updates, you can customize that and things like that. So, and then like I said, rollback is the Control Z or undo update, so to speak. If in this new world of going faster than DVD software that was stamped and shipped to you, and then there was one service patch, 7-8 months down the line, and updates or security updates only that were coming to the devices. Now we're moving things faster. It's software as a service. It's a subscription product. You get all this goodness. You get all these bug fixes. You get them a lot faster, but that also means that change happens in your environment faster than old school IT would have been comfortable with. So having the ability to roll back devices that come into an issue for one reason or another is huge. You can just one click roll it back, and you still have to fix the issue, but at least that user isn't down. And if it's a important executive or something like that, you're not having your management breathing down your neck while you're trying to figure out what the heck's going on, because they're losing millions of dollars and things like that. So let's go ahead and jump in and actually show you what's going on here, because that's a lot more fun. So I think it was said in the chat, but it's config.office.com is the site. And like I mentioned, you do have to be an admin to sign in. You need global admin, security admin, or apps admin center admin are required to play in here. There is a global reader role that you can sign in with as well, but like its name, it allows you just to have read-only access to the site. But when we look at this homepage here, here's an overview. So this is my tenant. It's wayneweb.net is my tenant, and I've got 19 devices, 19 VMs sitting on a box below my feet here. And I have 17 on monthly enterprise channel, 2 on current, and none on semi-annual. And this is just kind of the overview page. I can go to cloud policy. I can go to the customization tool if I need to deploy. But I want to kind of jump into the key areas in here. And mine will look a little bit different. You won't have device classification. We're doing some demo work and some dev testing with my tenant. So I've got a few things lit up in my tenant that the developers are using to test some new features. But when we look at the inventory, like I said, I've got two total builds. I do have some that are unsupported, so I can know right away that's probably a problem. I should take care of that. I can see on current channel, okay, I've got unsupported builds. I have no unsupported builds on monthly enterprise. Like I said, 19 total devices, 3264-bit breakdown, and we can see the add-ins that I have. I can click show all add-ins. These are just the stock add-ins that get installed. I don't have anything else on my VMs, but I can see what I have. I have 2 versions covering 19 devices. I can export this data. But the biggest place you're going to play with in inventory is the show all devices. So when we get into here, I can see a breakdown of all my devices. These are the device names that I use, just client 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have my users when they're signed in to the devices and have launched. As you can see, I haven't been online with my VMs in the last 15 days here, but we've been doing some testing for some bigger rollback scenarios. But you can see exactly what's going on. If I hit the fly out on a particular device, I can get some more information, like the OS build, free space, how much RAM, some of those types of things. I can also see what apps are installed. If you've got some devices that maybe don't have like Microsoft Access installed or something like that. And you can also see the add-ins on that particular device. And if I've been using macros, I can also filter in here. I can filter by all the particular keyword filters. I can sort, all the things that you would expect. like just show me these are all the channels we have available, but show me just current channel devices. I can filter on that. And as you can see, I've got my 2 current channel devices, all that stuff. So this, I definitely would say, if you haven't already, turn this on immediately. This makes no changes to the environment. This just gives you the data that we collect when your users sign into Office and use our subscription products. So some of the stuff will make change when I show you the cloud update piece. That will change, make a change in your environment. So be careful when you're clicking around in there. We ultimately want you there, but we want to do it intentionally and not accidentally. But for inventory, feel free to light that up. It's just giving you insights into what's going on. The same is true of apps health, which is where I'll head next here. So mine won't show anything because it's all based on usage. I don't have anybody on my VMs launching Excel or file open, go grab a Word document from SharePoint or from local disk. So there's no, it's not tracking anything because it's not doing anything. In your environment, of course, you'll see thousands and thousands of sessions of people using their applications, and you'll see breakdowns by app metrics. As you can see, I've got 0 sessions because, again, no one's using my applications. But in yours, you'll obviously see these sessions. You might see 10, 20,000 sessions being collected. And then it's going to just kick out things like, again, it's looking for crashes, load time, file open, hangs, things like that. So, and it will show you if there's any deteriorations. You can also see a breakdown by the channel metrics. Again, I don't have that here, but if you have current channel, semi-annual channel, monthly channel in your environment, you can see, what the current channel this month might be doing better than it was last month, but semi-annual channel might be doing worse than it was. So you'll be able to, if you have multiple channels in your environment, you'll see the breakdown there. And again, this makes no changes to your environment, so I highly recommend turn this on immediately as well. It's just giving you that good data back from users using your sessions, and you can kind of see what's going on in your environment from a health perspective. And then the security update status, like I mentioned, there's a couple things in here. So I've got none of mine are up to date because, again, my VMs were being used for some testing right now. We're doing some crazy stuff with my tenant, but we're past Patch Tuesday. You should see a large number of your devices are up to date. If you set a goal, you can see if you hit your goal or not for your channels. I can change my goal. I can say, like I mentioned, 95% within 7 days. If I say, okay, within 14 days, I want to allow for that, and now it'll allow me to hit my goal. So this doesn't make any changes to the speed in which your updates come down. This is just a way for you to track how your environment's doing. And if you want a report for senior leadership, like, hey, that we're 92% compliant after 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, whatever it is, you can come here. And then the security vulnerabilities pane. So when we look at our security bulletins that we publish, if we look at the April security bulletin, let's say there were 3 security fixes for that month. And if I have 19 devices that are not up to date, well, that's 19 times 3 is what, 57 devices or 57 holes in my environment, essentially. And if I have devices that are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months old, that number of vulnerabilities is going to grow based on how many security holes there were each month that they aren't patched. So it shows you your security vulnerabilities, what exactly is going on. I've got 11 accumulated vulnerabilities across my 19 devices because I have devices that are out of date. This is trying to give you, actionable data as to how we can go and fix that. So obviously security is very important, and this gives you the opportunity to see exactly where that all sits. So this is a preview feature. It may not be in every tenant yet. It's something that we're still working on, but again, it's designed to give you those insights. Nothing in here makes changes, or you can't take action specifically from here by clicking buttons, but gives you the data. So certainly turn these on as well. It's apps health and inventory. definitely light those up, today if you have access and if you haven't already, because it's just going to give you good data. Now, the one that I would love for you to all turn on, but certainly do this at a when you're ready, is Cloud Update. So whatever your update tool is, whether it be Intune, or if you're still using ConfigMan, or just going directly to the Microsoft CDN and letting them come down every Patch Tuesday, turning on Cloud Update will do much the same. It doesn't change the URLs. It doesn't change the size of the downloads. It doesn't change what is actually being updated. Bit for bit, byte for byte, it's the same stuff traveling on the same URLs, but it does it in a way that gives you full control of what's going on. So if I look at my environment, I've got 16 devices that are being managed by cloud, and I can see that all 16 of them have not started, because again, we were doing a rollback piece, but I can see which ones are, what is the update. This is the versions that are being updated on this Patch Tuesday. It was released on 4/8 of this month, a week ago, essentially. And I've got 16 devices. That's been 2 weeks since the last check-in. So that's a potential update issue. My devices are not checking in to the service. So I can see, okay, what's going on there? Why are they not checking into the service? For me, I know why they're not checking into the service, because I don't have them turned on. But for your users, if they're coming into work and using their devices, they should be checking in daily automatically. This does it in the background for your devices. We can set our tenant settings here, and I can put in certain exclusion windows. I can say when I want these things to be excluded, which I can add certain groups. I can give it a name. I can give it a description, and I can say all devices or only certain groups. Again, this is that tax example I gave. If I want to exclude tax from getting updated through today, essentially, because of tax day, or through maybe till next week or something. Or I can say, hey, all devices, we have a change freeze. If I'm in retail, that last like 2 weeks of December, I'm probably in a change freeze. So, don't touch my devices during that time. I pre-schedule it, and then it lives here. And it basically, whenever it's kicking off, it'll automatically, like this one, exclude on 5/22 is set to go. So no devices will get updated on 5/22 through 5/23, just as this example. And then I also can do things like exclude groups. So if I'm like, cloud updates is awesome, I want everybody on it except one group of devices, I need them. I need a different way to manage those for whatever reason. I can exclude them by individual device or by groups that I want to say do not have these devices get managed by Cloud Update, and every other device will be managed by Cloud Update. So as you're turning this on, if you want to test it, we don't have a include only feature. If you want to test it with a small set of users, you basically would have to exclude everybody else except that small set of users. Just it's the way it's built. We don't have an include. We have only the exclude piece. But certainly go ahead and do that. Or once you turn it on, every monthly enterprise channel device and every current channel device will snap to Cloud Update management, being peeled away from, say, ConfigMan or whatever else you're using today. So once you enable it, it'll just basically gets its marching orders from Cloud Update as opposed to Intune or anything else. So that's where we can set up our overviews, or that's where we can set up our tenant settings for across tenant. And then if you look in here, I've got the two channels. Monthly enterprise is our recommended channel for most scenarios. It is required. Monthly enterprise channel or current channel is required for Copilot. Hopefully you're all aware of that at this point. Copilot is not coming to semi-annual channel. So you'll want most of your devices, 95+% of your devices on monthly or current. You may have a use case for some devices on semi-annual, but they should certainly be the exception. Now, when you look at my monthly enterprise channel devices, I have 16. I can see which ones. This just takes me back to inventory. I can see specifically just my monthly enterprise channel devices. And I have my settings for this channel. Now I can decide if I want to create rollout waves. like I mentioned during the deck, I can add a wave. I can give it a device group. Yeah, so I can say like device group 2, you are in the first wave, and then all other devices go after that. So I want just one test group in this example to get the updates first. Canaries in the coal mine, so to speak. Make sure everything's looking good, and then nothing's going wrong. I'll let the rest of the devices go, or I can add additional waves if I want to do it. Even a little bit more ringed approach than just one and one. So you can add up to three custom waves, and then the fourth wave is all remaining devices. They will go last after the first 3 waves. And then I can mention the update validation. If you turn that on, or excuse me, if you do custom waves, it is turned on by default. You can disable it if you don't want update validation, but that will give your first wave a 7-day wave window to do its validation. So wave 2 devices will not start till the Tuesday after Patch Tuesday. And that first, like I mentioned in the slide deck, that 7 days, it's letting those users use the application. It's churning the data, making sure that there's no problems, no crashes, things like that. And then it gives you a report and it says, okay, yep, everything's looking good. Go ahead and keep going with the rest of your rollout. Or hey, maybe fix this issue, or hey, this is a bad update for you. Something's breaking in your environment. Press pause, get it fixed before you move on, so to speak. So if I don't use update validation, I can set my own number of days up to 5 between waves. So if I do use update validation, I can still do that. It's just for the other waves, but update validation will always be a 7-day wave window. And then I can set the if I want to set it tighter for the additional waves, like, just do 2 days after that, because I'm feeling pretty good about the update this month after doing the update validation. If you don't use wave rollouts, how it's designed on the box is on Patch Tuesday, as folks sign in, use Office, the devices basically queue up in our service, and the first 30% go as a virtual wave 1, so to speak. And then the next 30%, the next 30%, and then the last 10% will go after that as kind of like your clean catch-all, so to speak. So that's for the wave rollouts. You can set a deadline on the device. So after the updates go to the device and it's sitting there in the background with Cloud Update, you never need to reboot the device, but the apps themselves have to blink. So it will notify the user, hey, I've got an update pending. Can I apply it? They click yes. It kind of save states the apps that are open, closes them, applies the update, and then reopens the apps. Right where, as you've probably seen today, but the user can also ignore that for up to however many days until enforcement. So you can set how many days you want to give them before it forces the update on their device to ensure compliance. And then if you do decide if you use Cloud Update and you decide you don't want to use it anymore, this is how you deactivate it. If you want to just uncouple from Cloud Update, the devices will fall back to whatever the previous management tool was, assuming you didn't, make changes, on that management tool, for example. Like if you turn COM off, severing the connection for config man or whatever else. But if you just left everything else alone, it'll just fall back to whatever its previous instructions were. If for some reason you need to remove yourself from Cloud Update. But month over month, your devices will come in here. You'll see the in progress, not started and updated. You'll see any issues that are happening here. If for some reason I need to pause, I can just pause the update and any not started devices will stay not started. The in progress devices will continue to, they've already left the station. So they're going to finish, but all the other devices will stay paused. And then the other thing that is great is rollback. So, old school IT thinking was do full pass validation, testing, certify, and make sure every bit and byte is accounted for, and then slowly move forward. That is really expensive, really time consuming. And at the end of the day, you still don't catch everything because the issue might have been an add-in. Typically vanilla Windows with vanilla Office works really well. It's it's the rest of the ecosystem playing nicely together is typically the issue. So we're trying to get folks away from that mentality and into a more of a aggressive stance of taking the updates when they come in every month, going to the monthly channel, getting those new features faster, getting your bug fixes faster, all of that goodness. But with increased speed comes increased risk, right? So rollback is here to mitigate that risk. So if ever there's an issue, you can simply roll back either to straight to last month as it was. So this would roll me back to the March build, just straight up how the March build was. Or if you guys are familiar with the channel breakdown in the monthly enterprise channel, every month there's 2 releases. There's the new release, and then there is the last month's release plus this month's security update. So we have that one as the recommended one because it includes the security update, but maybe it's the security update that's giving you problems, or you just don't know yet what the issue is. You want to go to last known good. You can hop back to this version. I can put in whatever my device here is, and away I go, or certain whatever the device name is, and I can roll them back this way. Let's see what it was, a user or put in client. So I client 14. I got one device here, and I can put in some devices. I say rollback, and it's scheduled for rollback. It will start to download the difference between this month and last month's update to that device. Once it's done downloading, it will, to the user, it'll just say, hey, we have an update for you. It looks just like their standard Patch Tuesday notification. They click, yes or okay. And then it actually rolls it back to that previous build. And then it stays there in that rolled back state until the next month, unless you make a change. So it will stay rolled back until the May Patch Tuesday comes out, and then everything will roll forward again unless you pause the updates or take that device out via exclusion, or all the devices out because it's some add-in that, say, HR is using, for example, and everyone else you want them to keep going forward, but you need to just hold HR back because of investigating an issue. So it really is designed to be set it and forget it, and use inventory, use apps health, and use your security update status to see what's going on. If there's an issue, you have pause and roll back to mitigate those issues, but it's really designed to take the heavy burden of managing M365 apps off your plate and throwing it onto our service. The other channel we have is current channel. Now this is a little more lightweight right now. Current channel is there's maybe up to 4 updates per month for current channel. So we don't have things like waves and roll back. It's a faster move forward channel, but you still have the insights of the devices that are not started, the devices that are updates, any issues updating, just like with the monthly enterprise channel profile. Additionally, you have your deadline. You can set for users to take the updates fast for current channel. So, those features are there. We're looking at adding new enhancements to current channel, but it's really designed to be that move forward channel. If there is an issue with it, we'll usually release another update 3, 4, 5 days later that fixes the issue. So, things like rolling back or using waves and taking 14, 15 days to do your full rollout of current channel. By the time you do that, there's already another current channel out in the market. So it's kind of not really designed to be that wave rollout. So it does give you your most recent updates faster, bug fixes faster. And if you do have the majority of your users on monthly enterprise channel, I still recommend you put some folks on current channel. Just gives you an idea of what's coming down the pipe. If there's any changes, you can see them in current channel first, and then kind of be ahead of the game for monthly enterprise channel. There's a few other things in here. There are OneDrive Sync. There is also Office Cloud Policy Service or Cloud Policy, basically a group policy in the cloud. It follows the user around rather than the device. Group policy worked fine when everybody had a physical tower at their desk. And nowadays, people are on iPads, they're on the web, they log into the hotel lobby computer, they go to grandma's house and use her computer. If you want to allow them to have that kind of mobility, but you want to maintain control, cloud policy is for you. So it follows the user around wherever they sign in on Macs, on PCs, on tablets, on phones, on hotel computers, things like that. So, and it's pretty much all the same policies as in group policy for user-based policies. So certainly take a look at that as well. But I really wanted to show the inventory, apps health, and the cloud updates piece in depth because those are game changers for folks. All right, there's a few minutes left. Any questions for me, or is there any other stuff that we wanted to cover in this meeting for the organizers? I kind of used most of the time here.
No, this has been great, Eric. Thanks, and the rest of your team has been awesome at answering all the questions in the chat. So Matt and Nadan have been super helpful there. But yeah, does anyone have any questions, or do they? If you want to come off mute, you can ask Eric any questions directly. We'll kind of open the floor to that.
Yeah. Hey, Eric. Great presentation. I love looking at this portal, and it's kind of echoed in chat here, but I think especially for the EDU side, especially higher ed, being able to exclude, in some extent, like personal devices from the sort of telemetry path perspective would make this really a lot more useful. Because if I'm going to see crash reports for a personal device, I don't know what state that device is in. If it's because it's unmanaged, the personal device. So all the add-ons they're using, that's really going to add a lot of mess, a lot of noise to my dashboard here. I really want to see, to be able to leverage these dashboards, I need to be able to see just sort of my own corporate managed devices and not just someone that's signed in with organizational credentials. So I think, especially on the telemetry side, I saw there was an exclusion for the cloud update, and that's great. But I think just for the telemetry perspective, to being able to sort of drill down and see, okay, what's my, I want to be able to see, why my updates aren't installing on my corporate devices. To a lesser extent, I kind of don't care about my personal devices that have it. But
yeah, that's a great call.
That's my one feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think we have that as a action item or as a backlog item, but if we don't, I'll certainly get it added because I can see exactly what you're saying. You've got unmanaged devices with Bitcoin miners on them or something, and they're just haven't taken a Windows update in 6 months, and they're just in rough shape, and now it's making your environment look bad, and when it's really just some random device. So yeah, great call out.
Sandiata?
Yes, I'm here. Thought of course I put in the chat, but also want to bring axe here. So under list of unmanaged devices, it shows a cloud update status and has a couple of them depending on what we have here, because I have different statuses based on channels that we have here. So one of them actually says onboarding to current channel, have some that's eligible for semi-annual because we've had different ones. So that's actually one I'm curious as how we can go to that. But I have a question now definitely about the onboarding to current channel. And I'd like to know where can we go? Can you go anywhere to actually get more details of what state that's like? Where can we go to maybe do some troubleshooting if that is that actually stuck in a certain state right now?
Yeah, so I think we have a bug open on this where it remains in the onboarding phase through one whole patch cycle. And so it's a little misleading right now. And yeah, the semi-annual channel one as well, like eligible for semi-annual channel, but there is no semi-annual channel profile. So we do have some work we need to do here. But yeah, there's a known bug where it stays in that onboarding phase until it completes an entire Patch Tuesday patch cycle, and then it should flip to managed by current channel or monthly channel. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that, and hopefully we get that fixed. I should call it, as you can see too, that this all is in preview. We are marching aggressively towards GA, which should hopefully be here in the next couple of months. So firstly, this being educational, folks, if you're not comfortable or able to via policy to use preview products, we're really shooting for June timeframe to get this thing to full GA. So before the next school year starts, essentially, this thing will be GA. Matthew, looks like you're next. Oh, maybe not. James?
Yeah, I'd put this in chat as well, just for the links to be there. But there's documentation generally around the M365 apps, knowing that if you're managing updates with config-man, you cannot change channels from current or like new to old, so current to monthly enterprise. Separately, I see in the cloud update docs, it mentions that kind of takes precedence over anything else anyway. So is there anything special that needs to be done for transitioning CM update managed clients to cloud policy and allow that moving from new to old?
So nothing needs to be done. If you want to onboard to cloud update, you simply turn it on. All monthly enterprise channel and current channel devices will hop over. Our under the covers in the registry, our settings supersede config-man settings. And so just look at your config-man reports and things like that. But for M365 apps, the management now will come via our service, overriding config-man or any other service. And then as far as change channels go, you can move to monthly or to current from anywhere. Any channel that you're on, you can move to monthly or to current, but you cannot move to semi-annual from anywhere through our service. So we do have these available for channel change, but if you want to change to semi-annual or even back to semi-annual, you have to use either the Office deployment tool or a policy, or just push out a command line. There's a bunch of ways to do it, but you can't do it smooth through here.
Oh, thanks.
Yep. Matthew, go ahead.
Sorry, user error and undoing the microphone earlier.
No worries.
You might have already mentioned this earlier. I caught a little bit on the total builds that you were showing earlier under inventory. So the first question, how do those get removed? Is that as far as if you, like, I see 6 in mine, and we just started looking at this last week when I knew this meeting was going to come up. So we have 6. Do those start going away as the clients start to update and that starts to come down? So instead of the 6 we update, it goes down to 4 or 2 or whatever. Is that how that works?
It is, yes. Yep. So as cloud updates starts working, you should have, in theory, you should have one monthly enterprise channel build, except, maybe for a few days over Patch Tuesday, and one current channel build, except for when the new build comes out and the devices are moving. You shouldn't have stale old builds in your environment. Now, it's software. There's always onesie twosies. There's devices that were sitting in a drawer for a while. There was the user who went on vacation for 2 weeks and never signed in. There's a lot of reasons why you might have devices that are like kind of stretching out there a little bit, but you want to have that number to be very small. Obviously, the more you have on the current version of current channel and current version of monthly enterprise channel, the better. But there are going to be those scenarios where devices hang for one reason or another. But you can see where they're at and then try to go attack them. Try to find the ones, like, show me that, like, okay, I know these 2 are out of support right now. Oh, that they're a current channel device. They haven't checked in since the end of March. Obviously, there was an update in April, Patch Tuesday. They never checked in, so they haven't gotten into updates. First thing I'd ask myself is, are these even real devices, or through hardware refresh or PC refresh cycles? Is that user on vacation? Stuff like that. So it just allows you to really try to tackle that and keep that number small.
Okay, and I know we got to go, but real quick on the devices. In my environment in Intra, I have like 83 devices that are listed, and I know there's 83 good devices in there. However, in my inventory list here, it shows 66. Is there a rhyme or reason as to why that is? Could that fall into the category of we have 10 people that do have a laptop stuck in a drawer and they just haven't checked in or something, and that's why they don't show? Or is there something, a lot more devious going on there?
I mean, there could be some broken state stuff, of course, but the devices need to be in use in some capacity. So if you have people that have not, when I say devices, I mean the Office apps, I should say. Someone has to launch an Office app and launch Excel, launch Word, whatever, to connect to the tenant association key and connect to our service. So if those devices are doing non-M365 app things or are just turned off in general, that's why they're not coming in, most likely.
Great. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, you bet. And one last thing, I know someone asked in chat, where did he go to change channel? It was inventory, show all devices, and then there's the switch device update channel. I don't know if someone answered that or not, but there's where you can move channel within your thing. So, okay.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Eric. This was great. And it sounds like there was a lot of folks that really enjoyed this with all the questions and commentary that's going on in the chat. So great job. Thanks a lot, Matt. Thanks a lot, Nadan, and everyone else that was chiming in, answering questions. Garrett, I don't know if you want to wrap it up.
Yeah, if you want Eric, Matt, and the rest of the team to join us again, throw some reactions in the meeting or show them some love. We'd love to have you guys back. That was a fantastic presentation, Eric. So thanks so much for joining us. And we will see you all again on April 29th to talk about Hotpatch. And hopefully by then, you'll be able to turn it on in the tenants. So thanks again, team. Fantastic presentation. We'll see you guys later. Have an awesome weekend.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.